Hi, Miss Harvey. I'm currently at the Whitney Museum looking at Calder's work, and it's all 3D sculptures.
3, 2, 1.
If you like pina coladas and getting caught in the rain, if you're not into yoga, if you have half a brain.
Okay, so a lot of Calder's work is like pretty simplistic. Like it's made out of wires and shapes put on the wires, and I think the way that he's presented it, like this one's suspended, but it's in like kind of a helix shape. I think that's really cool. Also, I don't even know if it's intentional, but the way the lighting is, it gives off a shadow of the piece, and I think like it happens a lot in all these pieces where they have like really cool shadows. Like I don't even know if that's intentional, but I think that's a really cool part of the whole art piece. Like this one has a really cool shadow, and these ones as well. Okay, so after reading this description here, this piece is called the Spider, and this piece I think has a really, really tiny electrized motor that pretty much rotates it. I don't know if it rotates at 360, but it basically like showcases the piece, but I think it's really cool because then, first of all, it'll change the shadows around, and second of all, you can see like different angles of the piece. So this piece here is called the gong. So this top one's the gong, and then the bottom one is the red disc. And this one's definitely motorized because you can see how it like turned very like in uniform. I think it's cool how you put the red and the gold together. I think they both accent each other really well and they complement. So basically here, I didn't really want to talk to my phone anymore because the museum was like quiet and I didn't want people to think I was weird. Yeah, anyways, for these pieces, they're all hanging 3D pieces, and I think these are the ones that really stood out to me the most. This was, I think it's called a polytic, where it's more than one, or more than like a triptych. This polytic, I think, took a complete different turn than the simplistic work of Calder's work, which was all clean, like shapes and designs. I think the dark fabrics with the galactic colors of whites, purples, and blues really contrast that dark kind of feel, which look really, really nice. The tone of the pieces are definitely on the more edgy and darker side, but I think each individual piece is unique in their own way, and even though it has the same thematic idea, you can definitely tell like this piece tells this story and this piece tells this story. Yeah. What I thought was really interesting about these pieces is that although they're three-dimensional pieces and there are a lot of three-dimensional aspects to the pieces, a lot of the composition was painted or drawn on the fabric, yet we would still consider this a 3D piece. And so I think what I can understand from this is that even though there's a lot of 2D work on the sculpture or 3D piece itself, it doesn't necessarily make the work 2D, but it's still, instead of making the work 2D, it just enhances the 3D aspects of the piece. These pieces here show really great manipulation of material, and even though the base of each of these pieces in the polytic are the same kind of base, which is the shower head and the tap, the artist decided to take 5 of those separate bases and like use different materials to create different kinds of like art, even with the same base. And I think although it gives that sense of unity with the same base being used, it does bring out different moods and personalities of each piece, and I think that's really cool because as artists, we always try to like be unique with every one of our pieces, but I think one of the big things that we need to do is unite them, and this is a really simple way of doing it while also keeping it real and funky. So overall, I really enjoyed the Whitney Museum, and I wasn't really planning on going in the first place. It was just like I just happened to be there, and I was like, oh, like this looks cool, and so I went with my mom. But basically, the 4 takeaways I got from this museum were, the first one was that physical art itself doesn't necessarily have to be the main event. So an example of that would be the shadows from Calder's work, and how I thought the shadows of the piece also were part of the piece because of the way they, like I like the way they look. My second takeaway was adding interactive and kinetic pieces to the artwork can not only enhance the piece, but it can also give different perspectives of the piece at different times. So This is also in Calder's work where he had those spinning mobiles that kind of like showcase the work in different angles. And I think in 3D especially, you need to have the whole two perspective thing. This is like a 360 perspective, so I think it's good to have things like that. My third takeaway was, although 3D work can centralize around like the sculpture of it, it doesn't have to be all about what's 3D about it, and you can definitely focus on the 2D aspects of the 3D pieces that do enhance the final composition of the work. And my last takeaway is that with the same piece, you can do different things and create whole new pieces, so that the shower thing that I just talked about, like how you can bring out new moods and you can create uniqueness from the same kind of concept and design. Peace out. See you next time on my my next one's Guggenheim Museum. See you there, Miss Harvey.